How's it going, guys? Welcome back. Happy Saturday. Hope it's been going well. We're going to be talking about All-Star Game cards here today. The All-Star Game weekend here coming up. We're going to talk about the favorite players for me personally that I think we should go out there and buy. You can invest in. They'll upgrade the most possibly here. It's all a gamble at the end of the day. We've got the best chance of upgrading maybe. And, obviously make you coins at the end of the day. I think the All-Star Game, for whatever, I have a question for anybody. Does anybody know how to pull up a box score for the NHL All-Star? Why is that impossible to do? I remember last year, I sat there and searched for it for like 10 minutes trying to find a box score. This year, again, you click on a box score. You don't get a box score. You get articles. You can see who did good, who did bad, scores, etc. But one thing, regardless, can't figure it out. One thing I do, recall watching previous All-Star games is at the end of the day, it's a crapshoot. It really is a crapshoot. I mean, you can pay more for the big name McDavids, or you can pay more for the big name McKinnons. But at the end of the day, here is Patrick Kane, one of the best players in the NHL's All-Star Game stat line over the past 8 seasons. Last season, 2 goals. Season before, no goals. Season before that, no goals. 2016, goal. 2015, 2 goals. 2012, assist. 2011, assist. And 2009, goal. In other words, in half of his All-Star appearances, he has scored a goal. One of the best players in the league, has only a 50% goal rate. And obviously the format changed here in previous years, but at the end of the day, it's 3-on-3. It's 3-on-3 hockey. The defenseman's got just as good of a chance to score as the forward. I mean, you talk about really good forwards like the McDavids of the world. You'll see a lot of him setting up other players and getting a lot of assists. And in this case, you don't get upgrades for assists. You want players with goals, and you also want players that can win skills competition. Which again, McDavid's gonna have that chance to win a skills competition, but everybody really does have a chance to win those skill competitions. I guess it depends who did they throw out the list yet of players in the skills competition. The most ideal skill competition one would be the pass, shoot, and deke. What is that even called? I can't even think of it. The one where you run the little obstacle course or whatever, because there's a lot of players involved in that, so a lot more players would get an upgrade for winning said skills competition. That'll probably end up being the best one, but I'm not going to dig real deep into that, and here's why. Because you got to look at the state of hot right now, and you have to look at the potential of these players. The MVP gets a 95 overall. That's probably going to be the best overall in the out of these, probably 95, because if you consider goals, what if somebody scores 3 goals? That's a lot, but it's easy to maintain in the All-Star game. You're talking 91 points. What if his team wins? You're talking a 93 overall. But even if he wins the All-Star, it's a 93 right there, right? That's 93. If he were to be an MVP, then he's a 95. But I think we're looking at probably on average at best 92, 93 overalls for a lot of these players. I'd say that's a safe bet for pretty much anybody that's participating in 92, 93, because like I said, I feel like anybody can go out there and score a goal. It's the All-Star game. You're not predicting talent in the All-Star game. A lot of these guys are just screwing off, enjoying themselves. And again, you bring it up, it's a 3-on-3. Everybody's going to get a lot of wide open chances to score goals. So I don't think you should get too analytical into saying who the player is. I think you should get more analytical into saying what's that player's overall right now, what can he grow to, and how much does he cost right now. Like McDavid, for example, he's $400K for his All-Star game card. Hello, he has a team of the year out, and if you remember McDavid's got other cards out that are going for, his 90. Let's look at McDavid. McDavid's a perfect example to kind of just give you guys an example of guys you shouldn't buy based on, what their price is right now. So we'll go Edmonton, we'll go McDavid. He is 90, he's got a 90 something plus, right? He's got at least a 91. I think he's got a 95, but I don't know what the cards are, so just pull them up. 95 team of the week, 600K. That's 500K. That is overpriced. There's a 400K. Again, that's 95. But we're talking MVP for McDavid. So even at an MVP, we're talking 450K. He's 400K right now, right? That's not a lot of meat on the bone there if you're trying to invest. It's actually just a complete gamble, because if he doesn't get that 94 MVP, which by the way, the MVP goes to the winning team. There's one winning team out of 4. Just because he's the best player on the planet doesn't necessarily mean his team's going to win the All-Star game competition, which would absolutely completely void him from winning that. Now, he can go out there and win a skills competition and possibly win the fastest skater, and then see his speed go from a 99 to a 99. In other words, who knows how much that would actually help him winning a competition, because his fastest speeds, or as fast as, the card departs did upgrade, are already at a 99 on his speed, the acceleration, and agility. So it'd be interesting to see what they do with that. Maybe a 99 endurance. In that case, what's that going to help him? Not a whole lot, right? So that's the thing with the expensive guys. I'm not touching them. I don't find the expensive guys worth it. Because look, $300K for McDavid 93. You look at, is Draisaitl even in the All-Star game? Does it matter? I just, he couldn't have got snubbed. $350K, you know, 93 overall Draisaitl. I think that's realistic. That's a realistic belief for him to be a 91 to a 93 for his All-Star game card. But if you go back to the All-Star game card and he is going for a pretty, it's going to take me like 6 years to pull him up because there's like 7,000 of these. We'll go by center. Draisaitl, he's 200K. So that isn't as bad, clearly. But again, you're banking on a guy to drop a lot of points at a 92 compared to guys that I'm honestly liking right now. And it sounds crazy, but I like Tkachuk. Tkachuk's a great 100K. He can go out there and net 3 goals. Tkachuk nets 3 goals, wins the All-Star. I mean, I think that's a base. You know, you talk 2 goals, 3 goals. You're talking 91 overall. His team can win the All-Star game. That's, let me make sure I'm getting that right. That's a +2, right? It's a +2 for winning the All-Star game. We should look at these rows real quick and should have went over them. It is +1 overall for every goal scored in the All-Star game, +2 for the 2 goalies. 2 attributes will boost to a 99 various competition. All-Star game MVP will boost to a 95. All players from the winning team will be awarded an additional team. Oh, it's an additional team synergy. So it ain't even that. It is strictly based off of goals. And even more so than I was already saying, and there's no reason. Man, I'm sorry, McDavid's not scoring 7 goals. Or 5. He might do 5, but you gotta remember these guys gotta advance. I'm with anybody under 100K. I think thinks a great deal because he's an 88 overall. He ain't gonna go down a lot more than at an 88. You're gonna get one for 90K. They're not gonna go down a whole lot more. I mean, they might go down a bit. But you know what, 20K or so or something. Giordano's another good one. I think it was Giordano though. You have to keep in mind he is 6 foot and has terrible synergies. We'll look at Tkachuk one more time. See what kind of numbers he has. He has, oh geez, he has 2 synergy spots taken already. How about that? I like that. We'll scroll through some other guys here. Giordano, it's still a safe bet though. He has the chance to score a couple of goals, be a 90 overall. I think he would go up a little bit temporarily, especially on the weekend. I don't know if we'll make a video talking about that, so we'll go over it real quick as well. Keep an eye. It's a weekend game. The way this will work, it's like an EVO when a guy scores a goal. The second he scores a goal, people are going to hurry up and buy them up on the market. You don't want to hold on to these cards. I don't think. It could be different, but usually you don't want to hold on to these cards after the All-Star game weekend's over. You want to get rid of them before they get their upgrades because everybody will be buying them up then. And then once they get their upgrades, people will be trying to sell them real quick. So keep that in mind. But we'll continue here to this Kopitar, another good one there, 140K, mainly because he's a bigger bodied guy and he's got great face-offs. Oh, geez, he's already got a 99 on the trail. Oh, my goodness. 99? Good for you, Kopitar. How about that? I like seeing it. All right. Chris Letang, Shea Weber 150K. Again, Weber's a great one, I think. I really like the Weber option there. If you can get him for under 150K, keep in mind it's a Saturday. They just came out. These will probably go down even more. Like I said, I like the 100K area. You get him for under 100K. I like Shea Weber. I like him because he's a big guy. He can bomb from the point. He can win a skills competition. And more importantly, he's a liked player in the game. So if he gets that 92, 93, people are going to want him. And I think at that point, 92, 93, we're talking, that is when you start to think, okay, you know what, he's worth buying. I know what you're thinking. Also, it's 4 goals for Shea Weber. Again, it's a crapshoot. You can play, it's 4 goals for McDavid because it's McDavid, but it's the All-Star game. You really don't know what's going to happen here. So I like Weber. Yari, not going to happen there. I like Tkachuk. I like the cheap guys. That's what it's going to come down to here. Other than, the Carlsons of the world. The one thing I don't like is guys that already have really high overalls, like Carlson. That's a 95. I'm not a big fan of any of those because what you're paying for then is a lower version of his best card. And the demand for a lower version of the best card usually isn't there compared to, that was the thing with McDavid as well, right? People usually don't want that. It's not going to be, McDavid got a new card, but it's a 93. So it's a new card, but it ain't his best card. So the demand is not as high for those type of guys. Ryan O'Reilly, I think that'll be a good one as well. You can get him for, I feel like he'll be a 100K guy down the road as well. He's got good synergies, no, but it doesn't really matter. Decent skate, decent speed. That's a guy, I think, a 92, 93 type of range. He could get a decent bump there. And again, any of these guys can win the MVP. It depends what, division wins the All-Star game for that. And I think if you're going to invest in these cards, you have to go down the route of the cheaper players. I don't think it's worth any other way. Seth Jones! I'd take my chance on a Seth Kins. That should count toward his fantasy card, baby. 100K there. I might actually buy that Seth Jones. Buy the Seth Jones and sell that fantasy card. I need to sell that fantasy card. Then I'll probably rip off like 9 straight goals, though. Good for Seth Jones, right? Pietrangelo, 79 there on Hellbuck. Not a fan of the goalies. I want to see just forwards. I'd like the forward investment the best because I do still, even though it is the All-Star game, I mean, the forwards are the ones with the shot. They probably have the best chance to score still. Perron, see, that's the guy, that's the one I do worry about is Perron. I feel like he ain't popular enough. Even if he was to get an upgrade, I'd not like him as much. What else we got around here? 150K was Thomas Hurdle. Hurdle's been a light card in this game, and he's, again, a guy that's got a chance there. Who I wouldn't mind that if you could get a Hurdle 100K. That seems like a decent one. 100K on Konechny. That's a questionable one. He's smaller. He's 5'10". I think that's a bit of a gamble. I like the, you want to try to get a bigger guy, 6'1", 6'2", because, in this game, you just turn your back to the puck and you don't fall off of it because that's how hockey works in real life. So the guys, the bigger guys are worth a little bit more because of that. Nico, a little bit more popular, decent one at 100K. I think Nico does. Nico in the All-Star, yeah, he's in the All-Star game. He's replacing somebody. I was trying to think, he's replacing Paul Mary, so he should be good there. Who else do we like here? Matthews, too expensive. Scheifele, Barzell could come down and be a decent one. That would be one I'd like. Huberdeau, same story. Guy's a stud and a half. Thank you, Huberdeau. Biased completely because he's been carrying a fantasy team these last few weeks. But still, he's got the ability to do that with his team as well. And he's on that, he's on that case where he's on a good team. It's an All-Star game, buddy. Everybody's good. Thanks for pointing that out, you guys. Thank you. Glad we clarified that. But you know what I mean. Playing with Matthews, playing with, the Tampa Bay boys over there. Good team, good chance of winning the MVP if he does go out there. That's it though. I'm pretty sure we went to everybody. I would like a Tyler Seguin. Again, 100K. I'm looking 100, 110K. Anywhere around that range. I don't think it's worth paying more than that. I really don't. It's a huge gamble. It's a one-time hit or miss. This doesn't go on past the All-Star game. So keep that in mind. If you guys have any other questions about further players, feel free to comment them down below. If you guys enjoyed the video, a big thumbs up and subscribe would be appreciated. Never required. Otherwise, thank you guys for watching, and we will see you next time.